who.
Dirty Promessa.
Who put this thing together? Me, that's who. Who do I trust? Me, that's who.
Dirty Promessa.
Dab on them. Dab on them. Dab on them. Dab on them. Dab on them.
Who put this thing together? Me, that's who. Who do I trust? Me, that's who.
Flex.
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 Who do I trust? Me, that's who.
How everybody doing? You're now watching the SOTA TV series, which is the acronym supporting other talented artists. Right to the left of me, I have Mike Geffner, the promoter and inspired word. Good friend of mine, like an uncle, friendly. And we're in front of Parkside Lounge right now, and we're going to do the SOTA TV series. Watch out, check it out. Mike Geffner, inspired word, SOTA TV series. Produced by Takeover Promotions.
Maybe take a pilgrimage to wake up.
Everything I wanted to do, I did. I focused on being prepared, and I was. And here we are.
Dirty Promessa, Takeover Promotions.
Dynamico on the beat.
Make me a martyr. Make me a martyr. Make me a martyr. I am the sun, the light, and the sky. Make me a martyr. Make me a martyr. Make me a martyr. My mama always told me positivity breeds opposite in others. I've been chasing at my dreams like there's no others. Too many homes without their fucking damn fathers. And why the fuck a nigga talk the most shit when they get farther? Oh brother, I'm being tapped to the top of my pyramid structure. I'm a biological, she telling me I'm not her father. The government planning to break down the nuclear family structures. Look what they did with 2 planes, brought down 2 mega structures. Last bit of my sanity is talking to my old dear grandmother. On my job applications, I'm checking off I'm a fucking other. I heard we no longer take the jobs that the white man offers. Fuck, I look like at 32, shining old man shoes, delivering Chinese food. Those are the type of jobs that you be giving out to these summer youth. I'm not always gonna be cool, handling all the fucking truth. But if you real with me, then I'm gonna be real with you. I'm true blue, but I also get bodied by poison blue. Never been scared of any of you. So in my life, so my name can live on till infinity. If you walking with God in your heart, then why the hell you should be scared of me? Lady, I don't wanna be your father, just your lover. Commitment, well, we talk about that when I wanna be bothered. Just stick with me, give me support like Elmer's glue. I know it ain't easy to trust me, boo. I have the same issues of trust too. Why we hating each other like racists do? Union take the money, ain't helping you. Supervisors always yelling at you. Tell me what the fuck am I gonna do before I quit this job? I'm about to go fuck.
From the Republican Party, organized labor has had to look away from Washington for energy. Some unions have found it in the occupied.
These eyes see my man head come off just like a fucking screw. Hell know why he died in my hands, cause what else can I do? I had better days sitting along court side at the pool. I'm walking on one good leg and doing more what others do. I put my life and faith in your hands and see what your magic can do. This is my life, move me farther wherever you choose is right. But get me closer to light, cause I heard wherever there's light, there's also life. Make me a martyr. Make me a martyr. Make me a martyr. Make me a martyr. I am the sun, the sky, and the light. Make me a martyr. Make me a martyr. Make me a martyr. Lord, only you can see past my slums. I have addiction just as a bum. Learn to be a nurse, so I save my mom. How many chances you giving your son? Try to think right, but I often move left. Heard the wisdom, I often act deaf. Could be these bullets up in my chest. I can breathe while I'm holding my breath. Standing alone and I'm fucked up at home. Still in mistakes even though I'm grown. It ain't about money, then why I need money. It ain't about envy, you looking so funny. Crib by myself with vinegar, honey. Shit isn't funny, you're growling that tummy. Crowling the devil will act like it's funny. Stretches of New York, what have you so grubby. Walk through these streets and like my name with Bumpy. Favorite song is spitting my story, I'm child of God. Only for the Moria ghost that call it. Time for the duty, go grabbing my Bible or holding my toolie. Most of these shooters be acting unruly. Put the mask on my fucking moolie. Don't look up cause the camera will shoot me. I got a lady that always support me. Make sure you gon' right 360 degrees. Eating that shrimp, frying that chicken, sporting the shirt, take takeovers with it. Walking with Cardinals but always sinning. Make me a martyr.
Welcome. You're now watching the SOTA TV series. I'm Dirty Promessa, founder and producer of Inspired Word. I have Michael Geffner, great friend once again, like an uncle figure. Inspired Word is what it truly does. It's inspired word. So I like to shake your hand like I do everybody who comes onto the show. I'm thankful very much for you giving me your time to do the show for the SOTA TV series.
My pleasure.
Okay, I see, things are always busy, right? Buzzing, the phone's going off while we talking. So how you been doing since we last met? It's probably been a year since I've done one of your venues. Probably been a year. So how do you think been going so far?
Actually, the series, which is now in its 8th year, is stronger than ever. We're doing more shows than ever. The average attendance is up by about maybe 15 to 16%, which is pretty amazing. When you do it as long as we've done it and as many shows as we do every month, you would think that the crowd would dissipate. Instead, it's going up.
Okay. So I got a couple of questions. I know this ain't so professional, but I got a couple of questions that I want around people that know you personally, myself, and some questions that I basically know myself. So, like you said, you already expressed it. Inspired Word's been going on for 8 years now. What basically got you doing Inspired Word? Because I know you used to be a journalist. So would you like to go back to talking about being a journalist?
Sure. Well, I was a journalist for over 30 years, working for the Associated Press, the Village Voice, Sporting News, a lot of different, USA Today, and covered the New York Yankees, the Giants, and the Knicks mostly. But I also did big interviews with guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, things like that. So what happened in the year 2009, I was kind of winding down on my career. I've been doing it a very long time, but I was still doing it in this restaurant, this new restaurant that opened up in Queens.
Do you remember the name of it?
Sure. It was called Tierra Sana. And it was a vegan organic restaurant. And a guy came over to me and said, "What do you type in there?" And I said, "Well, I'm a writer." And so I was typing one of my stories. He says, "Well, that's really interesting because we're looking to do a poetry event twice a month. Would you be interested in running it?" So I said no. I gave him a flat no. I said, "I'm a journalist, not really a poet." And so then he left it alone, and I would say about maybe 2 weeks later, he came back to me. He says, "Listen, I can't find anybody to run this thing. I'll give you free food."
Hey, I hear that.
So it was very expensive, that restaurant. I was eating there a lot because it was right near where I lived. So I said, "I'll do it."
Okay.
So, and when I do anything, Promessa, I kill myself to do it the right way.
Yeah, no.
And it went from nothing in March of 2009, is when I started. By the time we were done at that restaurant in June of 2009, we were drawing 50 to 60 people a show.
Okay.
Which is pretty amazing.
And that was all poetry?
It was all poetry.
So that leads me to my next question. How did you find yourself getting into other genres like hip-hop?
Okay.
Is spoken word considered poetry? Or is it just more raunchier?
No, it's spoken word is more, people would think memorized.
Right.
But spoken word, in the wider category, it could be comedy, it could be storytelling. But I think when people think of spoken word, they think of poetry memorized and performed.
Yeah.
More of performance.
If you hear anything in the background, they setting up right now. We right inside. If I didn't express it, we in Parkside Lounge right now doing this interview. So all the people you have met, man, doing this, you still in contact with everybody that helped you build this up?
Well, not only that, but I contact people like you occasionally just to find out how you're doing.
Thank you.
Because we try not to forget people from the past. Not everybody stays with the series. They go on to bigger and better things. Some have gone even on to mainstream television and on comedy shows and talent shows. So, but I try every now and then, someone something will pop into my head. I say, oh, wonder how Promessa's doing. I wonder how Mark is doing, Susan's doing. So I'll, just send a little
I stay in contact with a couple of people, Keon, Dan, Matos, a lot of them, they still doing what they're doing. And successful people that have a drive, I'm always going to encourage it. I'm always going to try to do my best to support it. And that's what the acronym SOTA is. SOTA is supporting other talented artists. And you supported my career and where I'm at right now to where I'm at, and I thank you so much for that. You gave me the opportunity, this gentleman gave me the opportunity to be a feature at his first All-Star hip-hop show.
Hip-Hop Parade.
Hip-Hop Parade, and I still be putting the flyers up. If y'all follow me on Facebook, I still put up the flyers up from that day. That was at Tammany Hall.
Yeah.
Great venue. One thing I know about you find great venues. How hard is it to find great venues?
Very hard. I'm very particular. I have to like the management and ownership. I have to get a good feel for the place. Got to have good sound. It's got to be easy to set up. People have to like it. It has to be relatively near a subway. It doesn't have to be right off the subway, but relatively. I want to make it as easy as possible. We've been here for over 2 years, and it may be the best venue that we've ever had.
Yeah, I see. You've been here for a while.
Yeah, and people like it. People just like this. And it's right in the mix of a lot of other venues, so people are always in this area, a lot of musicians in this area, so I think this is the place we're probably going to be for a very long time.
I actually performed in here one time.
Yes, I remember.
And, with another venue as well, too. I performed in here. It's a great venue. Poolside Lounge, come out. They got a bar, 21 and over. Come support the Inspired Word as well.
We do open mics every Monday and Tuesday here. We're open to all different forms. All we ask is you be respectful of the venue and be respectful of the people.
Now that's what I wanted to touch into. That's one of the questions I wanted to ask. What do you feel, because you always give people, an artist, talent, you give them the freedom to express themselves. Sometimes, even myself, I sat back and I felt like I don't want to hear an artist just constantly saying bitch, 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 fuck, fuck, fuck. We can curse in here because it's free access. But when do you feel like it's just over the top? And I've never seen you shut down a microphone. But when do you feel like it's just a little too much?
I don't like everything.
Just put just a little bit just to make sure.
It's not that I like everything, but it has to be in context. If it's just gratuitous, if they're just throwing in the words, it's just like anything else. It's got to be part of the context of what you're talking about. And if it flows with the art form, and it's not something that I can put my finger on and say, well, 5 bitches, it's like, 4 bitches. It's like, I'll know it when it's over the top when I hear it. Right. And I think, what's happened is a lot of artists that they've seen become famous
using those phrases,
using those words. So they figure, but listen, they're not as good as Biggie. They're not as good as Tupac. So they have to, in order to use those words, you have to be a craftsman, and those people were craftsmen. So they were able to use those words, and it fit into the context of their storytelling. So I think, and that's why when you listen to them, it doesn't sound gratuitous.
Exactly. So have you ever turned off a mic? Because I never witnessed it, but have you ever say, yo, we're going to shut that down, we can't do that?
I've actually done it, and I won't go into the incident in specific, but it started to get crazy where the audience was yelling at the performer and the performer was yelling at the audience, and I'm all for free. I'm a big believer. I'm a big believer in free speech, but if it's causing a riot in my show, I shut it down. Luckily, it hasn't happened, but maybe once or twice in the whole time we've been doing this where I shut down somebody. In that one case, I actually pulled the performer off the stage and told him to leave, and I told one of the people that was in the audience who was heckling him to leave. So, but the comedians go out there on a ledge.
Comedians, you give a little more leniency, right?
I give everybody leniency.
Yes, you do. But the comedians, this part. So a lot of times, the comedians act a lot of raunchiness.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the comedians? Like, where do they step?
It's the same. It's the same thing. I let them do what they do and let the audience decide what they want to do. I don't allow heckling, but if someone wants to boo, that's part of the reaction of you get what you pay for.
They call that keeping it real, right?
Listen, you have to, when you're a performer, you better know your audience.
Yes.
You're not going on stage just to offend an audience, because if you are, they're going to come right back at you. So you should get a good feel. A good performer has a good feel for their audience, and they know what's going to go over big, and they know what's not going to go over. So I'm sure, like when you're in a venue and it's not necessarily a hip-hop venue,
Exactly.
you know you're going to get a different type of reaction, so you have to adjust a little bit. Not only adjust maybe your performance, but adjust your reaction to it. I remember we used to talk about it. You wanted everybody to get up and cheer and hip hop, and sometimes you don't get that audience if it's not a hip hop audience. So so you have to adjust. Then and a good performer, a good writer, a good comedian, they'll all be able to figure out what the audience is and be able to adjust.
Okay. So you was doing the poetry, like you said you was doing 2009. When did you switch to giving opportunity to hip hoppers and other forms of genre to step up to the open mic stage?
There is a point in which we did, and it was one person. So we were doing spoken word, mostly like the spoken word that you would have seen on HBO, Def Poetry. We had a lot of those performers that were on that show perform for us, including some of the major ones. So that's where we...
Let that be known, that not just because you see them on TV don't mean they successful, they made it already. They still come back to the format of the beginning stages of the,
It's very hard to make it in spoken word. Do you know any famous spoken word artists? It's mostly, famous hip-hop artists, famous musicians, but you don't know a lot of famous spoken word artists. So it's a very... poetry is a very almost impossible art form to make a living at it. Some of them, the more popular HBO ones, were able to go to universities when the show was hot. They were able to go to universities and make $5,000 in a night. But those days are over. Okay. Now HBO Def Poetry is long forgotten. Yeah, it's a long time ago. So it's much harder to make it. So anyway, so we started out as mostly poetry and spoken word for the first 2 years. And then Sylvana Joyce, I'm sure you know Sylvana Joyce, was a very young singer at the time. And
she has her own band, that's the lady.
Has her own band. But she came into my open mic not knowing that it was a spoken word open mic. So she said, I think I need my money back, I'm a singer. And I said, no, I said, you can do it, it's fine. I would think, what's the big deal of having one singer get up? Well, if anybody knows Sylvana Joyce, she's an amazing talent. She's like real star quality talent, and she was at that time she didn't have her band with her, but she had a guitar player and she had a violinist, and she had beads around her neck and she played it like percussion. She got a standing ovation. She had one song and got a standing ovation, and I said, well, it got my head spinning. Then she was heading out the door without saying goodbye. She was heading to another open mic, and I ran up after her and I said, I want to feature you in 2 weeks. That's how much I was impressed.
And I want to touch on that right there. But right now we're going to go to a little break. There's a SOTA TV series. I'm with Mike Geffner, Inspired Word, the promoter, the producer, and the man who gives you opportunity. So we'll be right back. SOTA TV series.
Act right and to act like she is untouched by the world around her, because her feelings about this place were always inconvenient, unconventional, superfluous, so she decided the best thing to do was cooperate. Put down everything that made her less likable and be convenient. She decided, despite herself, to persevere. Fundamental unhappiness grew to a familiar state of being. The F-line orange, as it pulled to the station, always took her to the same place. A restaurant job. The West 4th Street stop. Intriguing only because of a leaking pipe that forged after-dark daydreams of a river somewhere prettier than this. Her body told her, I'm tired. Her body told her, I need sleep, and please take me somewhere with less concrete and more dirt. Begged her to hear, this is all wrong for you, but she learned not to listen. Perseverance. A word meant to motivate. Strong, fierce, unstoppable, unafraid. I'm a woman, and I'm afraid most of the time. Of people, of friends, of loss, of work, of no future, of no future, of gain, of never getting it right. So I have a cure for my scared. I numb my body. I ignore its well-being and I numb my body. I dig a cool dirt cave. I put my head down and I numb my body. I choose to not move. because I don't want the repercussions of what it will mean when I let you touch me. Life, don't touch me, don't touch me. Life, I don't like it. You're good in theory. That's it. Let me sink in this dirt mound, dead already, choosing to be dead already, because sunlight is so good to bask in that I hate when it's colder. Love is so full that full pieces of me are cut away, unrestored for always when it isn't mutual. Touch is so simply, delicately, privately ours that I'm desperate for a hand when you leave the table and it is just me. Yes to living is yes to loss. Once you know kissing, once you know good conditioner, fingertips out a window and through a breeze, a hand through a boy's hair, oxygen, big sir. Once you know being called pretty, once you know sugar, living isn't good without it. Perseverance. A word meant to motivate, strong, fierce, unstoppable, unafraid. She was afraid. Stone cold petrified at the possibility of falling short of that bold expectation. So she chose just existing over living a life. She hid to save from getting hurt. I hid to save from getting hurt.
Watching the SOTA TV series, the acronym for supporting talented artists, right here is Inspired Word, manager, producer, Michael Geffner. Once again, great friend. But we were just talking about Savannah Joyce.
Yeah, so Savannah Joyce was the first singer that ever showed up at our open mic, and she was such a hit that it got my mind spinning. I said, why don't we open it up to music? And then the more I thought about it, I said, why don't we just open it up to everything and see what happens?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what happened. We opened it up to everything, and all of a sudden we started to get comedians and even interpretive dancers and straight instrumentalists. So we started, once we opened it up, it really took off. Right. It was always popular, but it went to like the next level. Right. And then, you know, what a lot of people told me is you can't mix poetry with comedy and you can't mix this with. I said, no, we'll figure out a way, you know, it'll be interesting. There'll be such diversity of talent and genre and age. I said it'll be really a cool show, and the rest is history.
That's what I want to follow up. I want to follow up on that. So, how did you start off with a time limit, or did you just figure like there's some artists that could take the whole stage over, and we're gonna have to make sure that everybody get an equal value of opportunity?
Well, I wanted, for the open mic, I definitely wanted, because a lot of them had told me they didn't get enough time on the open mic.
Right.
So I heard like crazy numbers, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So I said, why don't I open it up 7 minutes?
That's pretty good.
Pretty good, especially for poets. That's almost double the time that they usually get. And 2 songs is pretty representative for musicians. So that's what I opened it up to. And if someone stood out, if someone, I felt the crowd reaction was strong enough, I would give them an extended set at a later point.
Right.
You know, but not everybody can do that. Not everybody gets a great reaction from the audience.
Right.
So you have to, you know, one of the things that I have to do is I have to be really aware of what's going on in the room to see which artist is getting a strong reaction.
And how you do that? Because you're a great multitasker. If you ever been to it, he's rolling around with doing the photography, doing the timing, setting the list, but you also get help with some of the hosts that help you do the show.
Well, they certainly can't host the show as well. So that'd be a little
he
tough.
does a lot.
Although I think I did 2. I did host 2 shows, which was insane, but not really host, but just call out names from the sidelines. But yeah, I tried to, you know, I tried hiring people to do it, but you know what? Sometimes in order to get it done right, you got to do it yourself, they say. So I do a lot of things by myself. I have my assistant Marvin that helps out with sound and photography as well.
Great guy, man.
Great guy.
Loves coffee.
Coffee, cigarettes, and me. I'm a distant third. But yeah, me and Marvin have been doing this pretty much as a 2-man army since the beginning, and everybody knows that when they come in here, they're going to get a warm greeting from the 2 of us, and that makes a difference with the warmth of the show. So, I mean, I'm very happy with how it's going, the evolution of it. It continues to grow. We're getting more and more people from around the country coming here who had heard about it. People in the UK
Exactly. Yeah.
That have heard
That's
about
great.
it around the world.
That's
It's
good.
hard. Sometimes, when we were selling T-shirts, I was getting requests from Switzerland and Sweden and England. Pretty amazing.
That's a great thing when it's overseas. People
Unbelievable.
watching it.
So you never know when you start something where it's going to end up.
Exactly. So how did you run into Nathan P, man? He's a past guest of the SOTA TV.
Yeah, Nathan I came in, I would say, like this beginning of the second season. I had heard about him. A lot of people had told me about him, how wonderful a host he was. And I always wanted to meet him. And then, unbeknownst to me, he signed up for the open mic.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who he was. Just said Nathan on the page. And I said, boy, he's real good. And I asked my host, Advocate of Words, I said, who is that? Because that's the famous Nathan P.
Okay.
So then I talked to him. I said, I really like your style, and I would love for you to host shows for us.
Yeah.
And he was all down for it, and he hosted shows for us, I think, for about 5 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. That's about the time I came into it, and when I was looking for open mics, because I came and tried to come in as a group back into the format. I've been doing rapping for since I was 15 or so. But I came back in about the year 2011 as with a group, and I was looking to branch out on my own as a solo artist. And you know what? To be honest, I didn't find no open mics except for the Inspired Word. Now you can find open mics pretty much anywhere now, and I've been to a whole lot of them, but nothing that's compared to what you do. There's nothing compared to what you do. So I thank you for that, and I thank you for you still doing it, as you say, since 2009. Right now, we Parkside Lounge, and he's setting up right now to have a feature show. Gave me the time out and the time to actually sit down and get this interview. But I want to know a little bit, my audience want to know a little bit, and I want to know about it. If you don't feel comfortable talking about it, then it's okay. But for Cancer Month, we both lost a dear person to us, which is our moms. And how was your bond with your moms, and how was your bond with your father? And a little bit also, how was your bringing, and where did you originate from? What was your birthplace?
I was born and raised in Far Rockaway, New York.
Okay.
And I still consider myself.
That's why you got a love for Queens, right? You gotta.
Well, I've lived in Queens now. I've lived in Queens all my life, but I consider myself Far Rockaway all the way. And I lived there from age 1 to 16. And my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 13. And I didn't know. No one told me because I was too young. But I could see that she was changing.
Was the medical treatment as
very severe?
It was very severe.
Very severe.
But what I'm trying to state is, was the medical treatment as good as it was as it was today? Right.
No, they didn't know anything back then.
Okay.
So they pretty much ripped her apart physically.
Yeah.
And
were they doing chemo at the
everything, chemo, surgery,
Chemo is something
very
else, right?
radical surgery. Very painful to see my mother, who was a very strong lady, tough lady from Brooklyn, and to see her waste away the way she did. But I didn't know anything until about, I'd say, 4 months before she died. My dad called me in a room because he knew the end was close, and he wanted me to know. And he told me, and I didn't want to believe it, and I kept on saying, no, it's not going to happen. And then a month before my high school graduation, she died, and which was very painful because everybody at the graduation had their mom and dad with them. And I was the only one without a mom.
Did you fall into a depression? Did
No,
you start
that's the funny.
drinking,
No,
or-
see, that's the thing with me is that I respond to things like that by getting stronger.
That's right.
That's just the way I'm wired. I know a lot of people, everybody said you would go off. Actually, it made me stronger. I was going to be a lawyer, and instead of being a lawyer, I decided when my mom died, I wanted to be a writer. Because that was the path I really wanted to take, but I was always scared to go against my dad.
Did you go to college and got a degree in writing, or
No.
you just started? Sound like my uncle, man. He's a genius in computers.
I was
but
just
never
talented.
never really finished college. Never even went to college.
No, I was just talented, and I took very few writing courses, maybe one journalism course, but really nothing significant. Or
Do
anything.
you still correct people when they write off grammar?
Oh.
I remember you used
People
to
on
do that.
Facebook-
You used to get on me too for
Well,
that.
sometimes it's bad because I remember, I don't know if it was Keon or somebody else, maybe it was, I forget what it was, but had the guy as the best raper. that he had seen. I said, raper, you mean rapper? And that's a very different meaning. So that's when I had to correct. I said, you know, you're going to hurt this guy's career if you call him a raper. He's a rapper. So, but yeah, I mean, I try not to correct people, but sometimes it's so terrible. But I've mostly given that up. You know, my partner Marvin here, I sometimes correct him, and he's not too happy when I do, but I do have a strong feel for the language and having it written correctly, so it's hard to get that out of my system.
So how's your friendship, and how's your bringing in Queens out there?
Well, like I said, my mom died when I was, but she was an amazing mom, very strong lady. I think my strength comes from my mom. My dad was a lawyer, wanted me to be a lawyer. He used to argue with me all the time. Is
Daddy still around?
No, Dad died in 92 or 93, I don't even remember which year. But I had a phenomenal relationship with him. He did not want me to be a writer. He was scared that I wouldn't make it. And then when I was covering the New York Yankees, and he was living in Florida in his late years, I took him to spring training and introduced him to all the players.
I know he was excited.
I got him talking to the manager, Don Mattingly, a lot of the players. Yeah, I got him to talk to Don Mattingly when my dad met him. He was 19.
And with the Knicks, Wilt Frazier.
I covered Frazier, Earl Monroe, Bill Bradley, Dave DeBusschere, all those guys. You know, my first year was in '76, so I go back a pretty long way.
That's the year.
That's how old I am.
That's how old I am.
You'll get there. You gotta work at it, but you'll get there.
I hope I have the same amount of energy and inspiration as you.
I'm still motivated.
In this thing, man, this thing is really hard, man.
This is a mission.
Hard. There's a lot of lefts and rights, ups and downs, bumps and bruises.
And you got to embrace it like a roller coaster.
Right.
You know, that's why I try to inspire people like you to keep going, because there's always going to be down moments.
God, thank you for
So what you have to do is embrace the whole ride. If you're going on a roller coaster, you got to embrace the whole ride. If you're just going to embrace the ride when it's over here, you got to embrace it when it's down there too. So this way you don't drive yourself crazy, and you'll stay in the game. Because a lot of people get frustrated with the down times and they quit. And then later in life they quit it.
So what? Some of your earlier ones that I know was in Manhattan. Is it you find it better in Manhattan than any other boroughs?
Yeah, because people they don't go home first. They come straight from work, so they don't have the chance to go home, undress, relax, and then say, you know what, I'm not going out. So Manhattan, you know, we have a very strong. We've had a very strong crowd for the last year. We've averaged close to 60 people a show.
Beer Burger.
Beer Burger was
soon to be a judge at a comedy show.
Did I? I don't remember.
I still have the pictures. They still memory, because you know Facebook gives you the memories, everything. So I still.
Well, that's what we try to.
You welcome me, Nancy, which is Queen Top now. She's on it. She helps me out a lot. You welcome us in. You have, like I said, you give people opportunity, and then that's what it is. Motivation. That's the motivation for a lot of talent, as myself and many others. You give them opportunity. You know, would you like to judge? Would you like to be a host? Would you like to?
Because I want it to be a community. I want it to be.
And it is. It very much is. And I talk about Inspired Word as well. I was trying to bring somebody who just published a poetry book named Vero G. I did a commercial for her, and I was trying to get her to come down to meet you, because that's what your main thing was at the beginning, but she couldn't make it, but that's okay. You probably see her later on. She's a hard worker, and that's who I deal with, hard workers. So that's what it is. Inspired Word is inspiring to all. Come on down, Parkside Lounge, what's the other one,
Hell Fun every Wednesday, but we can't do loud music. That's the only problem.
Why is that? Tell me why.
Because it's residential.
Right upstairs, right?
It's residential, so there's all around us. There are going to be people that complain if it's
Is it as big as Parkside?
No, it's about a third of the size. But at Parkside, hip hop artists could blow it out here.
Okay.
But unfortunately, we found out early on that the music, even some of the rock music, has to be low with no bass, because the residents will complain and call the police.
Funkadelics. That was it. How was it? I think that's where you met you met mostly a lot of genres, right? Wow, you was already on top. It was already ages. Like flowing, like everything was on top.
Yeah, it was all ages. The problem, I loved Funkadelic and I loved the Owner in Orlando. The only problem with Funkadelic was it was too small for we had built to such a point
Yeah.
that we were
Those people leaking out.
leaking out. We had 88 people in a venue that holds 35,
Yeah.
so people literally sitting outside in the hallways. So it was just it got to be a point where we're just too large for the venue.
And you give a fair price, what, $10 sometimes?
Yeah, discount. We have discounted tickets online, and occasionally we have special offers. I offer free tickets occasionally.
Let the people know how they can get it online real quick.
Well, not only online, but you could just follow us on social media at Inspired Word NYC across the board. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, .com is the website. You see all our different shows. We do a lot of different shows, not just open mics. We also do curated events. We do the Queens Literary Festival every year, 2-day event, out on the water, free event.
And you do one Pacific show for breast cancer, right?
Right, this Saturday, called Pink Speak. And all the money raised goes to the Pink Daisy Project, which is a real grassroots organization that funds women afflicted with breast cancer that can't afford to make ends meet.
Right.
So the money is really going to a good cause. That's this Saturday. You don't have to go to the show in order to donate. You can just go to Inspired Word and search out Pink Speak breast cancer fundraiser, and you'll find it online. And there's a box that says you could donate. You could donate from anywhere in the world. You don't have to be at the event.
Okay. We're going to take a little break again. This is SOTA TV series. We'll be right back with the manager, producer of Inspired Word. And once again, here we go.
AHP. Higher being, higher purpose. The wire streams, fire bursts.
Yes.
The livest verses, written cursive. So fighting for freedom while others worship.
War of the masses, uneducated bastards. Ignorance is a bliss, get lost in the abyss. Presidential bigotry, repeated history. If only the mind eye could see what it's meant to be. Voice your opinion, they send forth minions. Troll from Dominion, trying to stop all us that's winning. Killing each other, they straight grinning. Wipe the remaining off with a death sentence for an ending. Bioweaponry, shorting many live legacy. Kids popping Mars ecstasy, that ain't their destiny. No one wants to listen, making terrible decisions. Losing life early on, bear witness to incision. Death or prison, standing up for your rights against the system that always been foul given. Since way back when, the Maybach trend for us to unify together, that's a payback. And I say that again, higher being, a higher purpose. The wire streams, the fire bursts. The livest verses written in cursive. So fighting for freedom while others worship. A higher being, for a higher purpose. The wire streams, the fire bursts. The livest verses written in cursive. So fighting for freedom while others worship.
Tyler's with the power of higher being. My mom's was a witch with the rice and beans. I knock niggas out like a Sprite and lean, and beat the pussy up like a fighting scene. I am what I am, know what I mean, and God always here when I'm on the scene. I am love, I am light, keep going. My flow just like the sun, my bars be glowing. They trying to steal the wisdom like the European. Ancient Kemet up in Kush, I have my own Levine. Peace to all the God body masterminding. Spirits of the light, make sure you're shining. If you ain't high enough, then keep climbing. I seize the present moment daily, that's perfect timing. Higher being, higher purpose. Some serve self, I'm in the other service.
A higher being, a higher purpose. The wire streams, the fire bursts. The livest verses written in cursive. So fight for freedom while others worship. A higher being, for a higher purpose. The wire streams, the fire bursts. The livest verses written in cursive. So fighting for freedom while others worship. God without praise is so unworthy. When that raw being raised and quick to scream, don't hurt me, get it regardless of shattered thoughts early. My motive is beyond reach, blaming on the old earth that birthed me. It was day when I was hungry and thirsty, walking amongst the angel demons, those are unworthy. Having dreams of popping up on earthy. Shit I may say sounds strange, but wreck your brain 7:30.
What's going on with the party game? It was stupid. We had to pull this time in my dad, my jail, the big wing, the baby. I speak with the game.
We're back. I'm Dirty Promessa. I'm with the producer of Inspired Word, Michael Geffner. You're now watching the SOTA TV series. We're at Parkside Lounge. We're going to have to wrap it up real soon because the show got to go on. So, fair prices. We left it off on fair prices, $10. Do you ever get people to come in and be like, I don't want to do this for free. Why do I have to pay?
Sure.
You get those?
Sure.
How do you feel about that? Because it really fires my belly.
Well, listen, I tell them that what we do is very unique. We're not part of the venue. We're an independent series. I have to pay costs for the venues, for the hosts. I also pay talent. So people don't know that because they go to all these different shows where the talent doesn't get paid, where the host doesn't get paid, where it's part of the venue, so the venue doesn't have to pay itself. So I have costs, but the thing is that we're embraced by a large percentage of the community because we do pay artists. And I mean, last week we must have paid artists close to $700 in 1 week.
Okay, but there's also the followers that come in, right? You're fair. You're very fair.
Listen, I always tell people, if they don't want to pay, I'll give them all. I'll actually tell them where the free open mics are. I tell them where it is.
You know why?
Because I don't want that. I don't want that.
Very rare.
But I don't want that energy in the room. If you can't support the arts in a meaningful way, you know, they always say everybody loves the arts until they have to pay for it. So if I feel that a person's coming in with a belligerent attitude and a negative energy, I want them out the door. So I'm going to send them to any other open mic than mine. I only want the people that, and we have such a strong following. We draw anywhere from 150 to 200 people a week.
That's right. And how many shows you do a week?
3 to 4 a week.
3 to 4 a week.
So the fact that we draw that many people on a weekly basis for as long as we have shows you that we're doing it right.
Yes, you are.
So listen, some people don't have the money; they're broke. So again, I'll send them to all the free open mics. It's just that we can't, because of the expenses that we have that goes along with the show, we can't do it.
Okay. All right then. Thank you, Michael Geffner.
Thank you, Promessa.
She got a show to put on. I thank you for the time you gave me on the SOTA TV series. We at the Parkside Lounge. This is with the promoter, the producer, founder, Inspired Word. And this is what it is, the SOTA TV, the acronym supporting other talented artists. Stay tuned. And just let them know one more time where they can find me at.
Inspired Word NYC, one word. Inspired Word NYC on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and .com is the website.
Okay, there you go. So follow that along. Thank you, Michael Geffner. And that be it. I'm Dirty Promessa. This is produced by Takeover Promotions. SOTA TV series.
Who do I trust? Me. That's who.
Dirty Promessa.
Who put this thing together? Me. That's who. Who do I trust? Me. That's who.
Dirty Promessa.
Dab on them. Dab on them. Dab on them. Dab on them. Dab on them.
Who put this thing together? Me.
Dab on them.
Who do I trust?
Dab on
me. That's who.
Flex.
Who do I trust? 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 Me. That's who.